Hello everybody, welcome back. We're looking at the underside of the front of my 10-3 suspension, and I will show you how to get more climb out of your truck with 2 zip ties. And it's going to be difficult to see it, but this is the first zip tie right here, and that one is wrapped around the center of the front axle, and it goes up and ties in, actually loops through a second zip tie that is around the motor mount in there. And I don't know if you can see that. I'll try to zoom in, but there you can see both of them. But this one loops through that one, and it prevents the chassis from completely unloading, lifting during steep climbs. And it still gives me full articulation. I'll show you one of the things that it won't let you do though. Okay, front view now. This will let the axle drop only so far. It used to droop more than this. In fact, you can see it if I pull this side down, this shock can go to full extension, or this side. See how it can now rock? I can have one side at full or the other side at full, but not both because it's being held up right at the middle point. This allows still for full articulation in either direction. It's not limited that at all. All it's done is limit the amount of droop the front axle can extend, which in turn limits the amount of upward motion the body can have during a steep climb. And one of the things that you'll notice is if the body unloads and tips back, the entire truck will, because that's where a lot of the weight is. So if you can keep that body down for another 2 or 3 degrees, it might be all you need to get up the obstacle that you're trying to climb. And there's one obstacle at Red Rock that I've not seen anybody get up, and it's an edge obstacle. It's I call it an edge obstacle because it's right on the edge of what the truck cannot do. So I think by pinning the front down a little bit, just with that center limiting strap, which is basically interlocking zip ties like this. This one goes around the motor mount, this one goes around the axle, and it basically it'll let it rotate and pivot, but it will only let it extend so far. So I hope that clears it up. It probably didn't, but this was the way I figured out how to do a center limiting strap. And I've done this on my Traxxas, and that truck kills. It is awesome. It can do stuff that a class 1 truck should not do. And I've also done it to my Red Cat, but I don't think the Red Cat's quite as pinned down as the Traxxas is. It's close, but this one with the longer wheelbase should now climb extremely steep. In fact, last time I had it out, I did a few lines I've never been able to pull off with the shorter wheelbase trucks. So super happy with it. And this basically will allow it to extend it full on either side, or with still full extension, but it won't droop completely. And I'm probably taking about 5 millimeters of droop out of it, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're out there on the trail and you're just about ready to tip over, and all you need is the slightest force to make it just crawl up a hill, that might be all it takes. So another thing I've done is, I don't know if this, yeah, it shows it on it. I've left the zip tie that goes from the axle up to the battery tray zip tie a little long. So if I need to pull that while I'm out there on the trail, I can pull it until I get the desired outcome. And once I get it to climb how I want, then I'll go make sure it can still do the other obstacles that it needs more droop for. So should be great. I'll let you know how it goes after the next trip to Red Rock. This is a note for anybody who wants to do the same thing that I've done to this. I have moved the servo forward. It used to be mounted next to the motor, back farther. And what I've done is I've moved it to the place where you could have an internal winch if you decide to put one there. So I would rather have the servo forward and just a winch on the front bumper, because why not? It works great that way. and it gives a little more forward weight as well. So In order to do this, I had to use a Traxxas drag link from the servo arm to the steering block on the passenger side wheel. Works good though, and I don't know if this limiting strap that I have here would be affected by the servo in the stock location, but you can see how it works and stretches there, and it won't let that axle go any farther, yet it will allow full twist without any limitation.